Okay, go ahead and have a seat, and I'll start our meeting in about 10 minutes. Fantastic. It is a peanut butter. Dr. Christine picked up my notes, checked out things. Yeah. How long has been out there? Oh, wow. Well, going back, so the salad has something, you know, and that's nice. And we are like, want to go to Scotland, then I see the bike meet and then we see so much more like, you know, I feel like you get a little too so much.
Yeah, well, conditions, yeah, I think are good. But this will our orientation. So that's.
They did, yeah. And last year, they had their kids' holiday party. That was so fun. Every year they do a really good music and comedy. And then they had like a big theater with your kids from like Santa.
I don't know, I lost track. Having too much fun.
It's still there.
It wasn't be Christmas if I didn't get to do I'll be available to you. Hopefully I'll be available to you next year for a year, this time.
Allison. I need to make my tag, my name tag.
It's awesome.
Yeah. You know, it's one of those things, I do all the management for the club, and everything else is just getting myself. I always forget about myself. Yeah. I'm trying.
It had a mailbox fee, mail letters, sent by the Riverwalk.
Meeting last night.
Last night, all the kids.
Yeah, we had
Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, interrupting your conversation, your fellowship. I am Sarah Buck, and I would like to welcome you to the 5,726th meeting of the Rotary Club of Chicago. So we'll start today with our member fun fact. So Mark actually sent me about 7 really good ones, so it was hard to pick one. So he's going to get spread out during the entire year because he sent really good ones. So we'll start with Mark spent a summer in Siberia collecting woolly mammoth tusks. So I don't know how many of you can say that, but that's one of the 7 that he sent me. Yes. So we think about what we talked about last meeting. So remember, you got to raise your hand to earn your sticker for a hand that I see. Which member is a 3rd-generation Rotarian who is married to a Rotarian? Betsy. Jody, that is correct. I'll bring your sticker in a second. So that is Jody, sitting in the back there. I have a bonus fun fact trivia for today. Which Rotary Club of Chicago member was just named to our district governor's line? Alita. Marshall, that's right. Yes, so that news just came out. We are very proud. Okay, so next week is our annual meeting. I will not be here. I'm leaving Friday. I'm going on, we take a cruise every year, so I'm leaving on Friday. We start in Amsterdam and go down through Germany to Basel, Switzerland. It is a German Christmas market cruise. So while I'm doing that, you all will be meeting at Avley. So this is our annual meeting, so you'll be getting some updates from the committees. Alita, remind me, is there voting next Tuesday? No, so not voting next. That'll be in January. If you, yes, of course, you're still going to come. Avley is a lovely location. If you haven't been there yet, parking is $4. Make sure that you do the validation. It can be confusing the first time, but once you learn it, it's fine. So that is next week. Please register. So here's the thing, ears open. The kitchen really needs to know that people are coming, and so last minute add-ons is fine. We're glad that you're here, but it makes it tricky from the kitchen perspective. So if you know you're coming, or even if you think you might come, please register because those last minute registrations are tricky for the kitchen. We are restarting the dictionary project. So this is where you grab a partner, you go out to the schools, you deliver dictionaries to our third graders in various schools. And it's not just a dictionary, there's a lot in the back as well with like capitals and presidents and things like that. So you can contact Wes or you can contact me to help coordinate that school visit and the dictionary pickup. So we are kind of in the last couple of weeks of our Community Service Committee X's World Services, where we're soliciting items for the Refugee Welcome Pack. Make sure you are clicking on that Google Doc to check mark off what you would like to submit. And Lisa is the one coordinating that. Yes, and so we're just in the last couple of weeks for that. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so it sounds like we will continue that on past next week, so that's good. But speaking of next week, if you have any used computers at home or keyboards or anything that you see in this picture, PCs for People will take them. So this is a really amazing thing that you can do. You donate electronics that you're not using anymore, they clean them off, and they refurbish them and provide them to low-income individuals and families. So there's a drop-off next Tuesday on Roscoe between 4:30 and 6:30. And I believe, did Alita, did you, or Allison say that people could bring things here to the Union League, but we're meeting at Avley? Okay. Okay, so if you're not able to make this drop-off, you can bring it to next Tuesday's meeting, and Allison and Alita will help coordinate that. Oh, that is brand new information to me. Thank you for saying that. So next Tuesday, meal / wine / doing a good thing, cleaning out some old electronics. Perfect. A meal by Alita. This all should have been in much bigger font in my slide. Okay, all right, thank you. Are there questions? I am now. Yes. Okay. So next Tuesday is our holiday service project, and today's speaker is part of that organization that we will be creating this opportunity for next week. So next Tuesday, we are looking for enthusiastic Rotarians to volunteer and make this event unforgettable for about 30 to 40 kids. They are early elementary, so kindergarten through third graders. There'll be a craft, we've got books and some snacks. We did this last year as well. It's in the same location. If you did this last year, it's in Pilsen at 2157 West 19th Street. You must register because we have to provide a list of volunteer names to their front desk. So do make sure that you register for that. It's perfect. Our speaker for today, next Tuesday, the annual meeting, and then you can go and do the volunteering at the end of the day. Yes. Yeah, a back-to-back, a full Rotary day. Meeting, service, meal, perfect. I'm sorry that I will miss that. Okay, we are also in the last days of our Community Service Scholarship. This is due December 31st. So if you know anyone who attends college in Chicago proper, the city of Chicago, the scholarship is for them. It is looking for people who have completed high-level community service. So you can go to our website to get more information and to get the application. That application is due on December 31st. February 23rd, Colette, I'm looking at you. You better be there. This is our birthday party fundraiser, our annual event. On February 23rd, we are celebrating Rotary from 1 to 4 in the afternoon. It is at Chicago Theater Works, which is on Belmont, and we'll be spotlighting the International Service Committee projects with Ukraine and Bolivia, and I'm working on getting food and performances from each of those countries. Rob, can I interrupt your lunch and come up and speak about this?
All right.
Into the mic.
Okay, into the mic. And as we're celebrating our 120th year, what we're doing is we have a special opportunity for a donation. For a $250 donation, you can get a bottle of hand-picked J. Henry bourbon. This bottle, Joe Sr., is actually a Rotarian. They're in Dane, Wisconsin. They're a boutique bourbon house. Alita and several others of us were able to select the bourbon that you're going to have in the bottle. It's going to have a special 120th anniversary sticker on it. It's going to come with 2 Glencairn glasses. Those are special glasses that you drink bourbon out of. They will have the Rotary 120th logo on it, and it will also come with a premium cigar. So we have those available. Of the proceeds, the profits that come from this, half are going to go to Job 1, and the other half is going to go to the Rotary Foundation. So we are looking for people. Let your friends know, all your bourbon friends that love bourbon, they get a chance to get a really unique, great bourbon.
Thank you.
Oh, so since someone asked, how do we order?
How do they order?
You can go to the calendar.
Yes, you can order. I saw that this morning, actually. So on the calendar, there's a bunch of links that you can just click on and order from there, and they'll ship it to you. Yes. Okay, great. All right, so that brings us to our speaker for today. So I will do a little introduction here. Tim Cunningham is our speaker for today and has been an active member of the Union League Boys and Girls Clubs for over 18 years. He currently serves as the president of the Board of Trustees. He has also served in other capacities of the Boys and Girls Clubs Illinois Alliance and the National Boys and Girls Clubs. So with that, I will welcome you up to the microphone. Let's welcome our speaker for today. Okay, so this button is the only one you need.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to be here today. As Sarah mentioned, I've been a trustee for 18 years. I got involved, I was introduced to the Union League Boys and Girls Clubs by a name that might be familiar with some of you who are in the room, John Alberts, who is a former president of this club. He was a trustee of our group, and John and I were friends, and one day he said, "You have an interest in becoming a trustee of Boys and Girls Clubs?" And I knew it was kind of a feel-good moment, but nevertheless, I thought it was a great idea. And I learned, or you learn very soon, that once you get engaged, you're kind of hooked. And so 18 years later, here I am as president of the board. In my spare time, my day job, I've got a little boutique M&A investment banking practice. We work exclusively with insurance brokers around the country and so on and so forth. I'm spending less time on my day job and more time on my volunteer job, which has been a great transition for me. Today, I want to take you through a little bit of history of the Union League Boys and Girls Clubs, and then talk a bit about what we're planning for the future. So, in 1919, 43 members from the Union League Club kind of came together at a request from the then mayor of Chicago, who the Pilsen neighborhood was kind of the Hell's Kitchen of Chicago, and whoever the mayor was at the time came to the members of the Union League Club and said, "You've got to do something about these juvenile delinquent boys." So they went and pooled, each one committed $1,000, which would be about $15,000 today in today's dollars. But the 43 pooled $43,000 together, bought a building, renovated it, and started the first Union League Boys Club. The rumor has it that the building they bought was kind of it housed a house of ill repute before we had all the boys in it, but nevertheless. So yeah, so they opened the doors in 1920, and Sarah, now I need to remember on the slides. No, so here's I'm good now. So here's in 1920, here's the first group of boys, and here in 1920 that we opened in the Pilsen neighborhood. We now have 21 locations. We have a 250 camp in Wisconsin. It's an overnight camp. We operate two standalone sites, the original Club 1, which was that first club, and then the Barretto Club in the Humboldt Park neighborhood. So originally we were in those two neighborhoods, Pilsen and Humboldt Park. We have since opened up 17 school-based sites, and we also have a site at the Cook County Juvenile Detention Center. So at the Cook County Juvenile Detention Center, that's funded by the county, but they utilize all our programming and so forth. We create an environment that's focused on our three main programmatic areas: academic success, healthy lifestyles, and good character and citizenship. So those are the three tenets that we focus on and follow. So our programming is focused on such things as STEM, Lego robotics, tutoring, library, science programs, smart girls, and sports, of course. We kind of get the kids hooked through sports, but then we engage them in all these activities and the like. We do something interesting too, is about 98% of our kids are eligible for reduced or free breakfast and lunch in the schools. We have a partnership with the Greater Chicago Food Depository, and we also feed the kids dinner. So they're getting many of our children are getting 3 nutritious meals a day in school through the schools or through our assistance. And we also take some of the kids that we know are really in kind of a difficult situation, and they get a care package that they can go home with on the weekend, so at least they're going to have something to eat. One of our neat little programs that kind of engages around STEM and other things is a program called Sea Perch. And this was started by the Navy kind of pre-COVID. But Sea Perch is the kids buy a kit, and it's a little sled. It's a remote control sled with kind of an Xbox controller. And this sled operates underwater, and the kids have to maneuver the sled around and pick up things, and there's a speed thing in the whole deal. The first year that our kids participated in the contest at Great Lakes, they were kind of disconsolate because their equipment was probably the poorest quality, because they were competing against some of the most exclusive high schools in the Chicago area. So they were so disconsolate. They had an award ceremony. The kids didn't want to go to the award ceremony, and the leader of our staff member, our technology person, he was chatting with one of the other coaches, and they were comparing notes. And AJ figured out that we really did pretty good. And so he encouraged the kids to go to the awards event, and it found out we took like 2 seconds and a first place. And so they, with equipment that was really, was not the best. Last year, and then when you qualify on the state, you then go to an international competition, which is at the University of Maryland in College Park. They have teams from all over the world, from China and India and so forth. And when they came back, they made a little tactical mistake. They entered the open competition this last year, so they didn't do quite so well. But when they came back, AJ said to me, he said, "Tim, you wouldn't believe the team from MIT that was sponsored by MIT. They had like great blazers and jackets and T-shirts, and their equipment was the best." And I said, "AJ, that is one of the leading research universities in the world. I would really hope and think that their equipment's going to be the best." But one of the things too, we focus on a lot of our programming is to backfill the inadequacies of the public school system. It's ironic, the public schools, for their high school placement exams, there's a science portion in that exam Unfortunately, many of the primary schools, many of the grade schools don't have a science curriculum. So we do things to particularly backfill those areas where the kids are not, where they're not getting adequate programming in their schools. So we have a safe space and place for the youth of Chicago during times when they're experiencing a lot of trauma in and around the clubs. You know, you've all seen the statistics that 1 in 3 youth in this country has contemplated suicide. 1 in 10 has tried to commit suicide. The trauma that our kids face is, you know, is kind of trauma on steroids. Between their, you can see the neighborhoods that we're in is between gang territories, housing and food insecurity, violence in and around their homes, just to name a few. So you see that for over 100 years, we have continued the vision of the initial 43 founders to build a bright future for Chicago youth. So this is kind of as future looking now, is we are future ready and have a strategic direction to be better, bigger, and bolder so that we can serve more youth in Chicago. So our goals, our goals from an outcome standpoint, we will enable young people to achieve positive outcomes in 4 areas. And it's a key thing that we talk about positive outcomes, because in the past, we use kind of the metrics to just look at involvement. Involvement, like one of the things in Boys and Girls Clubs is what we call average daily attendance. We have about 13,000 members. We serve about 1,300 kids a day. But we're just measuring just how many kids show up in the club. Now we're doing much more in terms of measuring what their outcome is. What is the result of our activity? So we're focused on health and well-being, character and leadership, academic success, and life and workforce readiness. That's a real big focus of ours now, is this life and workforce readiness. Quality is also key, and we will advance program quality and organizational effectiveness through continuous improvement. You know, I and we are a great believer in incremental improvement in all the program that we do, is just make it a little bit better. If you're doing a great job, you can make it a little bit better. And then growth, we will expand our reach to address unmet demand for our services while retaining and deepening engagement with current members. So one of the things too that I'm focused on is 2 initiatives. And the one initiative is literacy, reading and math literacy. Statistics tell us that if a child is not at grade level by the 3rd grade, the chance of failure goes up exponentially. Academic failure goes up exponentially. So we know if we can keep kids at grade level, math and reading, that the chance that they're going to make it through school, they're going to make it through high school, they're going to graduate, some will go on to college and so forth. So that's one of our initiatives. One of my other initiatives is breaking the cycle of poverty. In many cases, the neighborhoods that we serve, the poverty cycle just continues. So this workforce readiness is getting the kids in a position that they can break through that cycle of poverty that unfortunately they're embedded with. So that's one of our real big focuses. So unfortunately, that got up at the top there. Aspirations. It should be aspirations, not one might say it's not irritations, but so that we want every young person will have equitable access to high quality youth development that enables them to be safe and experience social, emotional, physical, and mental well-being. Graduate high school equipped with the skills and experience that will lead to post-secondary work and life success, and then lead change that will advance their families, communities, and the nation. So again, we're really focused on high quality programming, emotional and mental well-being to respond to the needs of young people today. And again, I mentioned the statistics about suicide and the like, is the challenges that kids face, and those of you in the room that might have younger children or younger grandchildren, you know, it's the challenges they face through social media and all kinds of other things. Really enormous. And then, like I said, as I mentioned before, is you take our kids and in the neighborhoods that they're in, between gangs and gun violence and all those kinds of things. A little anecdote is we renovated and expanded our Club 1 about 12 years ago. And one of our concerns was, do we shut it down and have less cost and get the renovation done quicker, because we're not going to have to operate with the kids in the club? We decided to keep the club open because if we move some of our programming to schools and parks and the like, the biggest difficulty we would have in retaining our kids is the kids' ability to navigate through gang boundaries. You know, in many cases, they cannot walk from school to the club in a linear fashion, but rather they have to take detours because they're cutting through gang boundaries. And in that situation, we feared that if we shut down, the kids would not come back because they would lose their ability to navigate through the neighborhoods. Our staff we get from Chicago Police Department, we regularly get maps of how these gang boundaries shift and the challenges that the kids face because of that. So those are the kind of things that are really, really difficult that we really try to focus on and create a safe environment for our kids. So then our strategic priorities are organizational strength, talent, youth and teen impact, influence, and digital transformation. So organizational effectiveness, it starts with the organization's strength and talent. Strong organizations can attract and develop effective talent, and strong talent builds strong organizations. I think we're pretty unique in terms of our board is a very good, working, cohesive board. We recognize that we have some very talented youth development professionals, so we don't get in their way. We let them do their job. But our board is I think very unique, compared to some other not-for-profit organizations. I think one of the great benefits we have as a board is the great majority of us have roots here at the Union League Club. We're Union League Club members. So in many cases, I'm seeing my fellow board members at lunch or in athletics or having a drink or whatever the case is. And I think that helps build this cohesiveness and makes us kind of unique in terms of what we do. In terms of talent, together organizational strength and talent enables us to deliver outcome-driven club experience that leads to youth impact. And then our demonstrated impact on young people provides the credibility for us to have influence beyond our own walls. And together, these strategic priorities are how we realize our plan's purposes. And each of these areas are supported and enabled by the fifth strategic priority, digital transformation. This is what enables and fuels our ability to achieve these things. So from a digital standpoint, in the past, the data we had was, frankly, it was old. And now we have a technology platform that was developed specifically for clubs by Boys and Girls Clubs of America. And so that technology platform allows us to deal with data in real time. So that's become very, very helpful because you need to be able to change things on a dime. You just can't always be looking backwards. I mentioned Boys and Girls Clubs of America we are, within that organization, is the Boys and Girls Clubs of America operates under what is known as a federated model. Perhaps Rotary International kind of operates on you think about it the same way. So we are independent from Boys and Girls Clubs of America, but there are certain membership requirements that we must adhere to. So such things, common sense things, is we need to have a CPA audit every year. You think about that. We raise millions of dollars from government and other sources, and that's good stewardship because we're dealing with children. There's safety issues, there's background checks and all that. So all of our staff must go through the same background check that any employee of like Chicago Public Schools would go through. The key, a number of our volunteers, because I'm in many of the club sites, I go through that same background check. Sadly, in this country, there are people that get involved in youth activities because they're predators, and so we need to be careful about that. I think I'm particularly proud that Boys and Girls Clubs has probably had the least amount of scandal out of any organizations that serve youth. And we are the largest youth serving organization, Boys and Girls Clubs of America. We are the largest youth serving organization in America. So There are some 1,000 plus clubs around the country, approximately 5,500 locations. In addition to that 1,000 plus clubs, there's an additional club at virtually every military base that has housing in the world. That's funded by the Department of Defense. But think about that. The people that are serving in the military, they get transferred every 1, 2, 3 years or whatever. If they have younger children, the trauma of moving, losing their friends and the like, and if they're club members, they know they can come back to the club. They always have a safe place to hang out, and that's the club where they're going to be welcome. There are also clubs in a number of the Native American tribal lands. That's a separate group because of their unique needs. So in any event, but Boys and Girls Clubs of America, as I say, we've got these membership standards, but they are also helpful in terms of they do fundraising in Washington, D.C. I mentioned earlier at my table about they like to call it's a day of advocacy. I say we're going to lobby. They say no, lobbying is kind of a dirty word, but nevertheless, we have this day of advocacy. And then there are some foundations and grants that some funds come down through Boys and Girls Clubs of America. I think we have a really unique relationship with Boys and Girls Clubs of America that's very, very helpful in funding and other things. But we're also very responsive with them. For example, Major League Baseball has a big sponsorship with Boys and Girls Clubs of America. When the Cubs were in the World Series, we had 2 of the 3 games. One of our kids was brought the ball out to the mound to start the game, and it was kind of interesting. Our CEO, Marianne Mann Ewells, he's always careful about the kids. Like when you're out in public, don't keep your hands in your pocket and all those kinds of things. But because he had our T-shirt on with Union League Boys and Girls Club, he directed them that you could walk out with your hands in your pocket and kind of display the shirt. So those are the kind of things that we do. So that's it. Again, thank you for this opportunity. One additional thing, and thank you also for the service project and for the work you're going to do. If at any time any of you would like to do a tour of the club and have an expanded look of the club, we would be happy to do that at any time. We would even be happy to arrange transportation. If you can kind of get it organized, we can meet here, we can get a van, we can take you there. But one of the issues in our 2 clubs is they're in neighborhoods and they're a little bit crowded. And so the van is better for safety and parking and all those kinds of things. We would really welcome that opportunity. And that's where you would see, and if you kind of straddle, because the programming in the 2 standalone clubs is the grade school kids right after school, and then the teens come in at 5:30 or 6. So it would really be great if you could straddle those areas. You could see all that programming. So having said that, any questions or comments or?
Oh, that's so serious.
We always have questions. No questions from the room today? Really?
Well,
Oh, that means you did a really great job, is what that means.
well, thank you. Yes, ma'am. What did I do?
So we have a gift for you from the Rotary Club of Chicago. We're Rotary 1,
Yeah.
so it's nice that we volunteer at Club 1, which is also the first club. Yeah. So this is our speaker gift. So you get to walk around as the proud owner of a tote bag from the Rotary Club of Chicago. Thank you very much for sharing your information and knowledge with us. Okay, so we will continue on here. We have some guests today from Rotary International, so I'd like to invite the 3 of you up to say about a minute's worth of each, so 3 minutes total, about who you are and what you do with Rotary. So you have to come up and speak into the microphone for our Zoom people.
I'll let you go first.
Hi everyone, it's really great to be here. Thanks for having us today. My name is Megan Anderson. I am the Director of Strategy at Rotary International, so really manage the process of our strategic planning and our action plan, which I hope you've all heard of. And I have been with Rotary for just a little over 14 years now, mostly in strategy. So I'm just happy to be here with you all today and we really like to reconnect with the clubs and just kind of get a sense of what's happening in the clubs and the challenges and opportunities that you're all facing. So thanks for sharing with us.
Hello, and I'm Sarah Stacy. I'm the strategy manager at Rotary. I've been with Rotary for about 6 years. For the first 4 years of my career at Rotary, I was a club and district support officer, so I had a lot of direct interaction with clubs and with districts and supporting our district governors in the Northeast US and all of Canada and Alaska, which was lots of fun. And I've been with strategy for about 2 years. And I manage all of our strategic initiatives. And like Megan said, we're just here to learn from all of you and how we can better support all of you. So happy to stick around if anyone wants to have any questions or just talk about your club experience, anything like that. So, but thank you for letting us be here today.
Hi everyone, excuse me, my name is Monica Barboza. I am a strategy partner. I am the newest member of the team. I've been at Rotary for 1 year. I want to thank you all for welcoming us. This has been a great opportunity to see a Rotary Club meeting in person as opposed to virtually. It has been very interesting to sort of get to speak to some of your members at our table. So thank you very much for that.
Well, actually, so with you up there, do you have any questions for us that you'd like to just ask the room in general? If not, that's fine, but you have our undivided attention now, so.
I'm actually curious about attendance to meetings. I've noticed an empty table, so I'm wondering if your meetings fluctuate in terms of the amount of members that actually participate.
This is pretty standard. We have an overflow table, just in case some people come that didn't register ahead of time.
Thank you.
I have a question. Yeah. You mentioned, is it a new strategy or if we didn't know about it, where would we read about it?
So it's not new, although not that old for Rotary. The action plan was rolled out in 2019. And so we operate on a 5-year planning cycle. So we're just entering the second 5-year cycle now. And if you want more information, there's a lot of really great information on rotary.org/action plan. It's the resources there have actually been divided into sort of 3 sections. As per President Stephanie, who is very engaged with the action plan and really wanted to get it down to the clubs and really help clubs be able to use it to address their sort of unique challenges and opportunities. So it's divided into resources you can just get started with if you're just getting familiar with it, then really building on those skills, and then some of the more advanced materials, which include a newly revised strategic planning guide. At our table, we learned that you guys do have a strategic plan. It might be a good time to take a look at that strategic plan, especially against these resources, and see if it's a good time to kind of update that or see where you're at and be able to track your progress. So, yeah.
Other questions for our guests? Okay, that's a look.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Okay, so coming up, the first Monday of each month is our Rotary Means Business Fellowship at Cafe Chow. You do need to register for this, but there's no cost to attend. So the next one will be January 6th. That is the first Monday of January. Every Friday, we have our Rotary Roundtable. This is an informal engagement where you can just get together with other Rotarians. I usually like to call on Ted because he goes there most Fridays, I think, most Fridays. Ted and Richards. It's a networking and fellowship event on the 4th floor. So you just get your lunch and you go and you get to hang out with Ted. So our next Rotary International Conference is in Calgary. So I believe that the fees for this are going to start to go up pretty quickly. So if you are thinking about it, you should definitely look into it because it costs more the closer that you get to it. Well, let's see. We've got Ryan in the room today, but we've got 4 December birthdays with Jody, Susan, Ryan, and Shawnees. Ryan, what day is your birthday? 16th. Oh. No, Jody Santaford. Yeah. Yeah, so happy birthday to all of our December birthdays, for sure. All right, so we're getting close to the end of the year, and if you haven't yet made your donation to the Rotary Foundation, please do this. And we try to go for 100% each year. We generally don't even come close, but that doesn't mean I can't stand up here and say, please, let's try to get 100% of our members to donate. It doesn't have to be $1,000, but you are welcome to donate $1,000. It could be 5, it could be 25, it really doesn't matter. We're just trying to go all in our membership to donate to that foundation. Speaking of donations, reverting back to our February fundraiser, if you're unable to attend but would still like to donate, of course we'll take your money, right? So just keep that in mind. We also have some sponsorship levels as well. Please follow us on social media. You've got a host of social media platforms that you can follow us on here, so pick your favorites. And of course, I'd like to say thank you for attending. Since I won't be here next Tuesday, this will be our last meeting of 24, and then we'll be back together the new year. So we take the 2 weeks off for Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, so we don't obviously meet. And then we'll be back together in January. The first meeting that we have is a night meeting, so that'll be at Avley, and we have a speaker for that. I just got him, he wrote an editorial in the Tribune on Sunday, so I emailed him, I cold called him, and he said yes, so he's gonna come speak to us. It was the editorial about the Toyota way of education, so if you saw that, he's the one who's coming. He's a distinguished fellow at the University of Chicago. He also runs a crime lab there, so he runs the education lab and he runs the crime lab, so he's gonna come talk to us at Avley. So unless there's no other announcements, okay, so we will go ahead and do the 4-way test. I know, we are quiet. Too much, I don't know, too much holidaying or something. I don't know what's going on. Okay, this is the Rotary 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Number 1, is it the truth? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Number 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And our number 5, will it be fun? So with that, please register for that volunteer service project next week. You heard all about the organization today. Those are the kids that you get to work with next Tuesday. So with that, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. I will see you in 25.
Nice job.